Hi, I'm David at 10 Degrees Warmer. Today, Rob and I are going to share with you everything we know about how to prepare to get onto a cruise ship. Now, the reason we are doing this video today is right over there. That is the cruise ship we are getting on. It is the Norwegian Dawn. We will be sailing with her for 26 days. We are starting in Doha, Qatar. And we are going to end up in Cape Town, South Africa. Along the way, we're going to hit the United Arab Emirates, Seychelles, Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion. It should be absolutely amazing. Now, this is a back-to-back cruise, so we're taking the first half is going to Mauritius, and the second half is heading over to South Africa. Now, this is going to be the first in a series that we are creating, and we are going to share all of our favorite tips and tricks for making your cruise the best that it can be.
One thing to do your research on well before you get to the cruise is, are you going to need any specific vaccines? Obviously, this is going to be dependent on your itinerary and which countries you're going to, maybe before and after the cruise, but some places have pretty specific requirements. Now, two we looked at for this cruise was malaria prophylaxis. Is that something that we needed since we were going to be going to some of these African countries? We wanted to look up the risk and decide, is this something that we need to take care of? Another important one is yellow fever, because there are countries that will require you to have yellow fever vaccine if you have previously been to a country where you might have gotten yellow fever. So you want to make sure you know, if you are going to any of those countries, that you have proof of vaccination so that you're able to enter it all. Another thing you're going to want to think about is visas. Are there any countries you're going to, either on the cruise or before or after, that you're going to need to get a visa for? This is very important because if you show up to the cruise ship and don't have the visas you need, they could deny you boarding. Now, the cruise ship will try and help you and guide you to do the right thing, but if you read their rules, they are not responsible for telling you exactly what you need. It is your responsibility to follow up. For our cruise, we only had two that we had to worry about. Coming in here to Doha, we were able to get a visa on arrival. It was very easy. We just did it at the immigration desk as we arrived. It cost, I think it was 76 Rial, which is about 21 US dollars. Very easy, not a big deal. So the tricky one for our cruise is for the Seychelles, because the rules have recently changed. Previously to this, people who were coming into the Seychelles on a cruise ship did not need any kind of visa, but there is a new online travel authority. It's not technically a visa, it's this travel authority that you just need to fill in your information so they know you're going to be there. It's a little tricky to apply for. I mean, it's pretty easy, but you have to upload a picture of your passport, you have to upload a selfie, and you have to upload a booking document that shows the itinerary of the cruise that you're going to be on. Now, if people don't do this and are trying to do it while they're on board the ship, I think that's going to be complicated. It's unclear whether we need it or not. However, the cost of this travel authority is only 10 euros per person. It was 20 bucks. We just decided to go ahead and apply for it so that we would be prepared either way. If we don't need it, we'll let you know, but we'll find out in a couple of days if it's really required for us or not. But we went ahead and got it just so that we would be prepared. Depending on which cruise you are on, you're going to want to look at every country that you are visiting before, after, and during the cruise, and just make sure if you need a visa, you want to make sure you have that all taken care of before you board the ship.
Let's talk dining. First, let's talk specialty dining. If you are going to eat in any of the specialty restaurants on the ship, you are going to want to book those early. And I would say book as soon as that window opens up. We're sailing with Norwegian, and that window is 120 days before sailing. Other ships may have, and other cruise lines may have different policies with their pre-booking. The reason to do this, if you're like us and you like to do an early dinner, possibly because you want to go to a 7 o'clock show and you want a 5 o'clock dining time, those slots are going to fill up quickly. So get in there and book. You can book once you get on the ship, but the chances are early times will be gone. Now, if you are someone who likes to eat later, then no problem. You can probably wait till you get on the ship. But if you have a full cruise, it might be hard to get a spot at all in some of the specialty dining restaurants, so we suggest booking early. Now, there are some cruise lines, and we have not sailed with these cruise lines, but where you are assigned a dinner time even in the main dining room. So that's another reason you might want to check with those cruise lines policies and find out when you can book so you can get the dining time that would make you happiest.
Another important thing you're going to want to take care of before you get to the ship is checking in online. Now, every cruise line could have a different policy. For Norwegian, we were able to check in 21 days prior to boarding. Now, the reason this is very important is because when you check in online, you get to choose which time you want to show up at the dock to be able to board the ship. They divide everything up into half-hour slots from about 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., depending on what your itinerary is and your cruise ship. Now for us, we want to board that ship as soon as we possibly can. We want to get on in the morning and be able to go have some lunch and just be able to explore the ship a little bit before we get underway that evening. So because we like to board early, which of course is what most people want, we want to make sure we are checking in early, and so those early times are still available because those are what fill up fastest. So I like to put a little note on my calendar just to remind myself to check in 21 days in advance. The cruise line will probably send you an email, but that email is going to come in the middle of the day, and by that time, many of those prime slots might already be taken. So 21 days ago, I went in and checked in online. I was able to get a boarding time of 11:30. That's what time I can show up to the dock. We'll still have to stand in line and that kind of thing, but at least I can be there at 11:30. We're gonna be able to get on and then have some lunch. Now, right after we did checked in, we got an email, a very sternly worded email from Norwegian that went out to everybody saying, do not show up at the dock before your boarding time. You will be turned away. It's just too many people. They can't handle everybody at once. And so you're not allowed to check in before your time. So if you want that early time like we do, make sure you check in 21 days or whatever it is for your cruise line. Check in advance so that you can get the time that you want.
Shore excursions. Now this one's not complicated. There are shore excursions available from the ship, and if you would like to be on a specific shore excursion, book as early as possible. Sometimes you can book as soon as you book the cruise. Sometimes the excursions will change, so pay attention to what is listed on the cruise line's website. There's lots of options, but if there's something you really specifically want to do, book early.
Something we really like doing before we get on the cruise ship is to start building a community and get to know some of the people who are going to be on the ship with us. So historically, there is a website called Cruise Critic that has a message board, and they have what they call their roll calls, where you can go in and find your specific cruise that you're going to be taking and just get to start meeting people who are going to be on the ship with you. This is a great place to ask questions, start to share ideas with each other. Maybe people are going to want to take a shore excursion and they can buddy up. We've met some really amazing people this way who we then met on the ship and had a really good time with. It's just a lot of fun. Now, what we're starting to see is that these roll calls aren't as popular as they used to be, as a lot of people are moving into Facebook groups. And again, it's the exact same principle. Someone will start a Facebook group for your particular cruise, and then people again just get to know each other and share those ideas. Now, currently, it seems like we're kind of in a bit of a middle period where half the people are on the roll call and half the people are on the Facebook. And so none of the groups are currently, at least for this cruise, haven't been as robust as what we've seen in the past. Hopefully this will kind of settle out and people will pick their platform. We really like Cruise Critic. I think coming together like that kind of gave us a little bit of clout. And then when we got on the ship, we would be able to have some meetups with the officers. They used to throw us little cocktail parties, or they might have a little snack or something. It was really just a nice way to start your cruise. I'm not seeing that with the Facebook pages yet, but maybe that's where it's going. We'll have to kind of see how it all works out, but get out there, whether it's on your roll call or whether it's on a Facebook group. It's just a really good way to meet the people you're going to be cruising with. We hope these tips will help you prepare for your next cruise so that when you arrived aboard, you are all ready to go and have a great time.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We have more cruise content coming up soon.
Today and not tomorrow.